Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome into the video. So in this one, we're going to be talking about what to expect next from the stock market based on the technical setup and some major fundamental catalysts coming up that we'll be going over, and then going over the top 3 stocks that I'm watching to trade for the month of July and the trade ideas behind them. Alright, so first off, getting into it, taking a look at the historical S&P 500 index seasonality chart, there's a couple key things to pay attention to. Now, historically, June has been a very weak month for stocks, which we have certainly experienced over the past few weeks, but July is one of the most bullish months out of the year. So now the question is, will we follow this historical trend and have a strong rally month in July, or will we be headed lower? Now, taking a look at the chart of the S&P futures, it's been setting up in this falling wedge pattern since late March. It had a quick washout below trendline support this past week, but had a strong recovery and a major move up to fill the gap up on Friday. Something that could play out, in my opinion, is it could go up to test that trendline resistance, likely a small pullback from there, if not a decent sized pullback, and then potentially lead to a breakout after that next pullback, which would ideally result in a higher low before making that breakout move. And if that wedge breakout does play out, that is what can create July being that big rally month, like we were talking about seasonality wise. Now, playing devil's advocate here, let's talk about some major fundamental risks that we will have in this upcoming month. The first thing is, analysts expect a really weak Q2 earnings season, and this begins in mid-July. But the big question is, has earnings revisions come down enough? Taking a look at this data from Citi, we can see that earnings upgrades versus downgrades have taken a major drop just in the past 2 months. We will see if these expectations have been revised enough, but in my opinion, there are going to be some really ugly earnings and guidance numbers from this upcoming Q2 earnings season, which once again is going to start in mid-July for the major banks, then big tech, and then we see the smaller companies reporting. And getting into the next major risk for the stock market, as we know, we had a quarter of negative GDP growth in Q1 of this year, and the definition of a recession is 2 quarters of negative GDP growth in a row. So if the Q2 GDP numbers comes in negative, then we are in a recession right now, and there is a high likelihood for the market to see much more downside if it's finally realized that, okay, we are 100% inside of a recession right now, and stocks will very likely head lower. And the major date to keep an eye on for this is on July 28th, is when the Q2 GDP number comes out, in which there could be a lot of nervousness from traders and investors leading into that event, so that's a big date to pay attention to. Alright, so those are the technical setups and the major catalysts that I'm paying attention to in the month of July. Now let's talk about 3 stocks that I'm watching closely for trade opportunities if this rally does continues to play out. First off, we're going to be going over Meta stock, ticker symbol META. So this stock had a huge day of relative strength on Friday, and the technical setup is looking ripe for a much larger relief rally. It's set up in a falling wedge pattern, which can lead to a breakout above that trendline resistance level, and also still has a gap to fill at about $175 per share. It is also showing bullish RSI divergence, which means that while price is making lower lows, the RSI is making higher lows, and this will indicate strength and a likely reversal play out off of lows. Once it makes that first higher low, it can start reversing very, very hard, which is likely to happen in my personal opinion. Now, the next stock that I'm watching closely right now is the Trade Desk, ticker symbol TTD. This stock has been showing relative strength recently as well. During the recent leg down in the broad market, TTD made a higher low while the broad market made a lower low. It's also been stuck in this downtrend for about 7 months, leaving potential for a huge breakout once it breaks above that key trendline resistance level. And this is overall a very close watch for me this coming month, with the $55 price level as the initial target above that downtrend line, and a ton more upside if it can reclaim above that $55 key resistance level. And the final stock trade idea that we're going to be going over is Google, ticker symbol GOOG. Now it has formed a W pattern off of lows with a slight higher low as well, which shows a lot of relative strength in this market as it's just so correlated with the indexes. It's also now right below the key breakout level at 2370 to 2408, in which above there it can see a large move with 2500 to 2562 as the target level above that I'm watching for as a potential profit taking zone if I was to take this trade. It also has a major catalyst coming up with a 20-for-1 stock split on July 15th, and could easily see a move a lot like we saw from Amazon early this month, where it had a massive gamma squeeze rally with all of the call option buying into the split in anticipation for it. And as we know how that played out, Amazon ran 20% in like a week or a week and a half. So there you go, just a quick overview of 3 of the stocks that are at the top of my watch list going into this month if we can get that larger rally move. Of course, anything can happen. We see new news out every single day that changes the market trend. So just stay on your toes in this market. no trend has lasted too long. We've seen these violent selling days, which leads to massive drops and legs down. Then we see some massive short squeeze rallies on the upside, then get back down. So it's just the chop fest. You got to be nimble in this market, take profits, cut your losses quick if the trade isn't going your way. And just the number one thing in this market is to manage risk, survive and want the next, and always take trades where your reward is greater than your risk potential. So that's it for the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If so, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe button. Helps me out a ton and I would greatly appreciate it. For anybody interested in joining the private Discord chat, getting my personal trade alerts, that is the first link down in the description. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Leave me a comment down below with your thoughts, and I will see you all next time. Good luck to everybody this week. Peace out.